Hello the English speakers and welcome to some larch. And as you noticed, it's getting yellow. So if you are a forester in Oregon, you can plant a lot of larches in a pattern of a smiley face. And then you can plant a lot of Douglas firs. So this is a normal Norwegian spruce. The Douglas firs, they are the second tallest tree in the world. They can become 100 meters tall. They haven't been that in Sweden. They are implanted here, but not really. So firs and spruces, they do not get yellow. So in the winter or in the autumn, you get to see the smiley face very clearly in this place in Oregon. I have linked to a video and some images that are a little bit fun. So if you are having your own forest, you know what to do. Paint some fun things by planting trees. So let's talk about Alzheimer's. So this is from a Midwestern doctor and some help from a vigilant fox that is summarizing it a little bit, and I will summarize it even more. So why do you get it? It's 5 different reasons that can be combined so to make you Alzheimer-y, or what it's called. First of all, if you have a lot of inflammation, you have infections, mold, you have metabolic problems, of course your nervous system will not work well. And then there is some problems like diabetes, almost. Diabetes type 3, you can call it, when you have glycotoxic problems and your brain gets sugary, and then it gets confused and doesn't work. And aerophobic, when you have deficiencies, lack of vitamin D and the lack of a lot of other things that you can get if you eat some eggs or drink them. Put eggs in everything and your brain and everything else will work better in your body. And then of course, if you have some toxins, that's no good either. Heavy metals, you have blood pressure medicines. Statins are really good at causing Alzheimer's. Avoid statins at all costs. They have no benefit. They just make sure that some values are changing, and that's not good for your body. You will just look better in some values. And there are medications against the acid reflux. That's bad. You need to have a very sour stomach, so don't stop your stomach to make acid. In general, it destroys your brain also and your stomach. And sleeping pills and psychopharma, of course, are bad for your brain. And obviously, if you have a lot of clots in your blood, your brain will not get blood and oxygen, and that's bad for it. And if you have a lot of trauma by hitting your head all the time, then also you can get Alzheimer's from that. But I think the easiest to do something about is to avoid too much sugar and get all the nutrients, and maybe add up on your vitamin D. But what to do about it, except that a Midwestern doctor, you remember that he talks about DMSO a lot, that thing that causes a little bit inflammation, but that also, or irritation, I would say, not inflammation, but irritation, and then your blood will flow better, and if you have some damaged part of your body, it will become bloody in a good way, with fresh blood getting in there. And as you all have noticed, if you get enough sleep, so don't try to not nap, nap if you need, and then your brain will get fresher. That I think all animals know about, even bumblebees that do sleep. So let's talk about these big lies and why do people fall for them. So let's talk about smart people that have fallen for many of these hoaxes. Let's start with the vaccine thing, for example. And many people who are skeptical about all these things, they think, they have just trusted the government. Don't assume that. Even if it's true, it's not useful when you're doing the persuasion and try to, well, explain it to them. So they have done their fact check that they got from the criminals themselves, but they checked it, and yeah, this vaccine have these rates, and yeah, they have done these studies, and look how much it's protecting according to their data. And this is powerful. They get information about that anti-vaxxers will get to them and say stuff like, oh, look at this vaccine damage, and then they already give you an argument before you have heard it. Oh, but the disease was so much worse than all these side effects, they will say. And then you are basically, when they hear someone who is an anti-vaxxer saying to them, yeah, look at this Ford study, the Henry Ford study, that shows that you're much more sick when you have had your vaccine of any kind. And then they say, no, but that's not a randomized controlled trial. And then they feel much smarter than you because they have disproven you, and they fall for this big lie. So the argument is only one. Do not use many arguments if there is one argument that's good. Never do that. If you only need one argument, that's enough. Don't say, but China, they make a lot of carbon dioxide also. That doesn't help. It's distracting, and it will be used against you. As you saw, Kenneth Owens, who had this plane wrong, the time zone, a little mistake there, and then they tried to discredit all her arguments because she was wrong on one point. It shouldn't be like that, but it is like that. So the one argument against the vaccines is that there have been no whatsoever a big credible study, a randomized controlled trial that shows that the vaccinated group got more healthy and lower mortality of all causes. Very important. Don't let them say that, no, if we look at this time period from 2 weeks after the vaccination to 4 months afterwards, and then we don't measure them anymore. No, all causes and all time until they die should be measured. And we saw from all the COVID studies, every one of these studies showed clearly that the ones who got the injection, they got more sick. You don't have to bring up, but it was not the same vaccine that they mass produced later. Yeah, that's interesting, but not an argument. You can bring up a lot of tragic situations where people have been really damaged by the vaccines, and the Ford study also, to say that this is important. And the only argument to present is that all the big, credible, randomized controlled trials, all of them doesn't exist, or are showing clearly that the vaccine causes more problems than they help. So don't blame them for not being critical. Just say that this is the argument. It's the only argument. Don't discuss anything else, and you can take them down. So then there are people who are truly not, they don't care about what is true, and you saw it with World Trade Center. Every one of the neocons or globalists, they were totally sure that it was bin Laden because they had been told to say exactly that. They had no evidence of that whatsoever, but that doesn't matter. Everyone says it, and then it must be true. And the same we saw with Charlie Kirk, all the demons that are revealing themselves as they are sure that some left-wing person were doing this. So this is from the neocons. They totally expose themselves as some people who do not care about the truth. They are very evil people and should be avoided. So please go back to where you come from, Pisovich and others. So we need to clean up after the last psyops, and do not let these vaccine scammers ever get away. They should not. They will redo this, and it will get worse every time. So Richard Werner, the guy behind discovering how credit creation is done from Japan, how they create money out of nothing, but not eventually in a way that causes inflation. But you can create money out of nothing without it not being sound money. He writes, it's behind the paywall, but you can read what the point is. Very simple. What happened in Soviet and what happened in China under the revolutions there. You can recognize the patterns in the psyops that they were using. A comment here about that TikTok from Henry Fjord. TikTok has reached a new level of censorship. You can't say anything bad about Israel. If you say that it's bad weather there, when it's bad weather there, you probably get banned from TikTok. But he hopes that X will not fall for that. I still haven't gotten a response. I did manage to send in one more appeal. It seems I might have figured out why. Nikita Beer, he's the head of development something on X, and he said that they have gotten rid of 1.7 million bots, reply bots that are replying on everything. And maybe I got caught in that because, well, I replied a lot, and maybe the same thing in different pieces so that it looks like some sort of bot, but they write very stupid things and they need to be corrected. And as X turned into, I don't know what to say, it's like a fire hose of lying Zionist propaganda, and under all these lies there are tons of people correcting that, so it looks like a lot of bots, even though they aren't. They are just correcting the obvious lies. So I will see if they must have gotten, become swamped in reports about people who were wrongly banned. So they are probably having a huge queue of people who were falsely banned. So will explain it, but it's of course not really acceptable as I'm paying for X. I didn't like Retard Finder because he was wrong and stupid, and then he has corrected himself a lot. So it's an account on X, of course. So I like him now. So that's a good way to find good people. And he's noting this, that X looks retarded because it's just filled with Israeli propaganda that is insane, and then it's filled with people correcting them. Pretty much retarded. Flynn has also proven that he cannot be trusted. he's saying that Cartel del Sol, the cartel of the South, he says that Maduro is the head of that, the president of Venezuela. And then Flynn says, General Flynn, he says that Maduro is not the rightful leader. Who is a rightful leader of anything? But the reason is that the Nobel Prize winner, she's totally won the last election. And we know that totally because there are some CIA companies that did some polling. Yeah, that's where the polls come from that said that the opposition won. It's total bullshit. And Flynn, I don't know what you're up to, but we are not going to listen to you anymore. And a wise comment noted that HSBC, they have been convicted to launder billions of dollars, and none of their banks have been blown out of the water. They should, of course, be shut down. So this is billions of dollars that they have got caught. Imagine how much they have done a better job with and not getting caught. HSBC is the most criminal bank in the world and the first choice for all drug dealers. If you have a money laundering account in HSBC, then you're pretty safe, even though they screwed up a lot of times. But imagine, as I said, how many times they didn't screw up. Tommy Robinson is risking his life again, going to court and might be killed by some Muslim terrorists that are hired by the Zionist mafia to make him into a martyr so that they can slaughter more Goyim that they love to do. And Greta, she was risking her life 2 times. In 2010, 9 people on the flotilla was murdered and many were injured because of Zionist terrorism. So they do not do risk-free things, but it's still theater. A Zionist and an anti-Zionist and all the other crap that they are pushing. Robinson pushes hatred against Muslim and Greta pushes vaccines and Ukraine war, etc. So I suggest, and I posted on Getter actually, the Twitter copy, so to speak, where Tony Robinson reposts all his posts. So he is bought by Robert Schillman, and Greta is of course bought by Soros types. So let these Soros and Schillman and Larry Ellison and the globalists and the neocons, they can beat each other up and we can stand beside and laugh at them. Likely they will not battle each other, but they will start to murder each other and lawfare each other and whatever they do. So here we have the Houston Church again that you have seen before with that tower. They had a big tower before, but it burnt down. So they decided to have the tower beside the church. Egypt, this plane that Candace Owens was talking about, why did it flew to Utah? That's very abnormal, you might think. No, it's very common. It's extremely common because Egypt has a contract to service the planes, and they do that in Utah. So, of course, there is a very bad account, a stupid person that is making the most stupid comment that it's not even worth a Monday, maybe. But he wrote that, why do they flew so far to get maintenance that they obviously didn't need as they were flying for so long? Yeah. because that's where the expertise is, and they do regular checkups on the airplanes and, well, scan them or x-ray them to see if it's time for bigger maintenance and replacing parts, etc. Parts that still are working, but maybe not for so long. And they might also fly there to get spare parts for the planes that can't fly to USA. That should be obvious. I have linked on my Substack to the details there. Not that you're interested. Zach Polanski. So he is the leader of the Green Party in England and Wales. So imagine the male party leader, Polanski, and he has a beard and he has a smile. What kind of smile does he have? Yeah, exactly like you imagine. Something like that. Yeah, and then you see the Swedish party leader, no, male spokesperson that have the same smile, exact same smile. So Polanski, he's a Jew. The Swedish Daniel Heldén, he is not a Jew but a Swede, but they have the exact same schmag smile. And what was Polanski saying? He was saying that of course you can have a penis if you are a woman. Yeah, that will not go well in the Swedish Green Party. The Swedish environmental party, the Green, is their name. And they have, just like AfD, they have one male and one female spokesperson. And I don't think the women in the party will accept to have one woman, one man, and two penises as spokespersons. So at least they have some sanity checks here in Sweden. Otherwise they are on their way out of the Riksdagen. The Riksdag, it has to be Riksdag, one Riksdag, and Riksdagen means the parliament. APAC, they are sending talking points to everyone, as everyone has noticed now. So they are not just trying to argue their case, they are basically giving the idiots there, the actors, you should say exactly these lines, and then they say exactly these lines. I think they write the law proposals also. Most lobbyists does. But Elliot Brandt, he is the head of AIPAC. He should see the writing on the wall now. There are a lot more people noticing AIPAC. So there are a lot more searches for them. And a lot more people are searching for dancing Israelis lately, and it's just increasing. And Larry Ellison and Robert Schillman, they are way more known now. People are searching for them. And Soros, on the other hand, is fading out of people's search interests. So that is from Google Trends. So we have a visitor, 3i Atlas. So this is the strange object out of the solar system, and it's spraying out some water and carbon dioxide somehow. So maybe it has a bottled water with carbon dioxide in it that is spewing out like a fire hose, which of course is less if it's a big object, but still pretty much. And then there is an idiot on X that I can't reply on. And this idiot, you have a link in my Substack so you can give him my regards, or Grok's regards. If you have a normal mobile phone and you film in bright sunlight, which it was that day, you will have a shutter time of 1 8 thousandths of a second, not the normal setting, which is 60 or 60, no, 1/60th of a second if you have 30 frames per second. And people do not know that because they are idiots. They could just have asked Grok. And it has to do with, can you see a bullet? And yes, you can if it's bright enough, because this camera has no capability to adjust how much light it takes in. So if it's really bright, it just has to end it there. And we will end it here. And with that, see you again on a less crazy Tuesday.